A question I get asked surprisingly often is Veritasium a real element? Nope. I made it up. When I was a kid, about 10 or 11 years old, I went to this Genghis Khan exhibit at a museum, and I didn't know much about Genghis Khan except he was some famous warrior who lived a long time ago, so I was thinking maybe we'd see his mummified body or his suit of armor or his sword, something like that. But when I got to the museum, all they had were like these tiny fragments of pottery and some old shoes, and I was incredibly disappointed. So in this video, I want to tell you my story, but with real pieces of my life. I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, so I'm mostly Canadian. Mostly because my family was South African. After my parents got married, they moved to Vancouver where my two older sisters were born. But I was born in Australia, and that's because my dad was working there as an engineer at a pulp and paper mill at the time. This is the first house where I ever lived. I lived there for the first 18 months of my life. Soon after, my family returned to Canada, and I guess I was a competitive kid because I graduated top of my class and had a full scholarship to go and study engineering at Queen's University. The problem was, I didn't really want to be an engineer. I wanted to be a filmmaker. But there isn't a straightforward path to becoming a filmmaker like there is for becoming an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. Plus, your chance of success at filmmaking is very low, especially in the year 2000, when your best bet is probably to become a PA and try to catch a break somewhere. It didn't feel like a meritocracy or like your life was in your own hands. So what did I do? Well, I did the smart thing. I took the scholarship and completed a degree in engineering physics. You know, some people seem to think it's strange to have interests in both science and film. But to me, they are both incredible ways of getting at the truth. I mean, film records everything exactly as it happens, and it never changes, so it's like this perfect observation. So you can't fool yourself later. Like about how I felt stifled by 4 years of engineering.
I feel like I've been stifled by 4 years of engineering.
Now, while I was at college, I did take a few film production courses, as many as I could squeeze into my engineering timetable. My final project was a film about someone who is really good at math, but really wants to be an artist. So that's really painfully autobiographical. I also made videos with my engineering friends, but they always wanted to do something with a gimmick, like vampires, ninjas, Bigfoot, private eyes, pirates.
I'm starving!
The videos weren't very good, and we didn't even post them to YouTube. Why not? Well, because YouTube didn't exist yet. So after the engineering degree, I decided to move to Australia and go to film school. See the Lonely Planet guide and the film school application on my desk?
I'm leaving in 5 days, and I've done barely anything to get ready.
But once I got to Australia, I figured I needed to get a job and get some film experience before I could make a decent application. I mean, they weren't just going to accept this Canadian engineer with some ridiculous videos. And on my 6th day in the country, I auditioned for and got a role in this play at the University of Sydney. And then I started asking around about physics tutoring work, and within a couple weeks, I had enrolled in a PhD in the School of Physics. After I got my PhD, I applied to the film school.
Now I feel like I'm ready to become an actor's student.
And got rejected. I got rejected again the next year. I applied twice to the drama school, but never made it past callbacks. I was looking for that well-defined path toward a creative career, but failing at that, I did the smart thing, and I took a job as the head of science at a tutoring company where I'd been teaching during my PhD.
They were making motors.
And it was a great job. I loved the students and the other teachers, and the flexibility. And the greatest adventure, by far, is one that I haven't told you about, but it's when I moved to LA and met a girl and fell in love and...
Will you marry me?
And here we are. 2010, my friends were a bit confused when I told them I was quitting full-time work to start a YouTube channel. And I guess I owe a debt of gratitude to YouTube because they've made possible something that was unimaginable in the year 2000 when I graduated from high school, and it still didn't exist in 2004 when I graduated from college. And I think about the people who are currently in high school and college, and I think, well, the job that you will have may not have been invented yet, or you may invent it. But I guess I had reached a kind of breaking point. I was 28 years old, and I'd spent my whole life up to then building backup plans and doing the things that were most likely to succeed, engineering and a PhD and teaching. And I wanted to make this shift. It was like a shift in life philosophy towards pursuing wholeheartedly the things that I felt to be true. The things that I'd always told myself I wanted to do, the things I told myself I wanted to be. I wanted to aim for that and not just something that was safe, a good strategic decision in the moment. So I guess my advice is, if there is something you feel you really want to do, then you should at least try it and accept that there is a very high probability of failure, but better to try than the alternative where you face certain failure. My ability to do what I love every day is all thanks to you. And I know that may sound cheesy, but it is absolutely true that every video view and like and comment and share, all of that great stuff is what has made Veritasium, and by extension my life, possible. So, seriously, thank you. And thank you for sticking with me as this channel and I evolve. So is Veritasium a real element? Well, for me, it was. It was that idea that I wanted to pursue things I felt to be true.